Throughout human history, there have been very few natural disasters that have had as large an impact on the course of history as volcanoes. From the destruction of Pompeii to the formation of the Hawaiian Islands, volcanoes have both fascinated and terrified people for millennia. And it's not just our distant ancestors who have had to contend with these fiery giants. In the past 100 years alone, volcanoes have claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. In this video, we will look at 3 volcanoes and how they have shaped history. The first is Vesuvius, which destroyed the Roman city of Pompeii in 79 AD. Secondly, Mount Pinatubo, whose eruption in 1991 remains the world's deadliest volcanic eruption since the Second World War. And thirdly, Mount Unzen, which caused one of Japan's worst natural disasters in 1792. Before we get started, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an awesome, fact-filled video. When most people hear the word volcano, their mind immediately conjures up an image of molten lava pouring down the side of a tall, steep mountain. But not all volcanoes are created equal or even look like this. A volcano is defined as a rupture in the crust of a planetary mass that allows hot magma, ash, and gases to escape from below the surface. So technically, a volcano can refer to any feature on a planet with an active center of heat that is not a geyser or hot spring. Scientists believe that Earth has around 1,500 potentially active volcanoes, but only about 500 have erupted in the past 10,000 years. Volcanoes come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but most can be categorized into one of 7 types based on their structure. These types are further broken down into subtypes depending on their eruption style. For example, shield volcanoes are named for their broad, low profile that resembles a warrior's shield. They are typically formed by fluid lava flows that travel long distances before cooling. Shield volcanoes tend to be the largest type of volcano and are often found at the centers of ocean ridges where 2 tectonic plates are moving apart and magma can rise to the surface. On the other hand, stratovolcanoes, also known as composite volcanoes, are tall, conical mountains formed by alternating layers of lava, ash, and other materials. They tend to be steeper than shield volcanoes and are known for their explosive eruptions. Stratovolcanoes are some of the most iconic and recognizable volcanoes in the world, such as Mount Fuji in Japan and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Before we continue with our story, now back to our story. Herculaneum was a Roman town near Pompeii. It was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Like Pompeii, Herculaneum had been a prosperous Roman city for centuries. Its population is estimated to have reached around 5,000 by the 1st century AD. During the eruption, however, the city suffered even worse damage than Pompeii, perhaps because it was closer to the volcano. Indeed, Herculaneum was completely buried under a thick layer of volcanic debris, which preserved it in remarkably good condition. This means that many structures such as houses, shops, and public buildings remain standing today. What's more, organic material like wood and clothing is still intact. Pompeii was a major city in Roman times. It was situated in what is now the Italian region of Campania, about 14 miles or 23 kilometers from Naples. By the 1st century AD, the city had become a prominent commercial hub with a population of around 11,000. However, its strategic location near Mount Vesuvius proved to be its undoing. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD completely destroyed the city. Estimates suggest that nearly 2,000 people lost their lives during the disaster. The eruption of Vesuvius was one of the largest in recorded history. It is believed to have had a Volcanic Explosivity Index, or VE rating of 6. A VE rating of 1 to 8 describes the relative magnitude of an eruption based on several factors, such as the height of the eruption column and the volume of material ejected. Eruptions with a VE rating of 4 or higher are considered to be major events. The eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980, for example, had a VE rating of 5. The eruption of Vesuvius began with a series of earthquakes, followed by the formation of a massive ash cloud that rose 21 miles or 33 kilometers into the air. The eruption threw approximately 4 billion cubic feet or 110 million cubic meters of ash and pumice into the atmosphere. Pyroclastic flows, which are dense, hot mixtures of rock fragments, ash and gases, raced down the slopes of Vesuvius, engulfing Pompeii and the surrounding areas. As the eruption continued for several days, pumice and ash fell over much of Italy, blanketing the countryside in a layer of fine dust. The immediate effects of the eruption were devastating. Entire villages were wiped out, and vast agricultural lands were rendered barren. The ash and pumice also caused widespread crop failures, leading to food shortages and famine. However, in the aftermath, it seems that life slowly began to return to normal. While the death toll was staggering, it wasn't the end of the world. In fact, the Roman Empire continued to thrive for centuries after the eruption. Nonetheless, the eruption of Vesuvius had a profound impact on the course of human history. It led to significant changes in Roman society, economy, and culture, and it left a lasting legacy on the natural landscape of Italy. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991 was one of the deadliest volcanic eruptions in recent history. Prior to 1991, the world hadn't seen an eruption of this scale since the conclusion of the Second World War. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo, located on the island of Luzon, caught many people off guard as it had been dormant for 150 years. It began with a series of small earthquakes, followed by steam-driven explosions. On June 15, 1991, the first major eruption occurred, sending an ash plume 22 miles or 35 kilometers into the sky. Subsequent eruptions continued throughout the year, causing widespread devastation. Ash and volcanic debris covered an area of 1,100 square miles or 2,800 square kilometers, burying entire villages and coating nearby Manila, the capital city, in a thick layer of ash. An estimated 847 people lost their lives, including 713 from the Philippines and 134 from other countries. The eruption also had far-reaching environmental consequences. Ash and sulfur dioxide emissions from Mount Pinatubo caused global temperatures to drop by 0.5 degrees Celsius in 1992. The eruption was a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of disaster preparedness. Despite the tragedy, the event also highlighted the resilience and resourcefulness of the Filipino people who came together to help one another in the aftermath. In the following decades, efforts were made to rebuild the affected communities and to develop early warning systems to better prepare for future eruptions. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo remains a significant event in Philippine history, shaping the country's approach to disaster management and serving as a testament to the strength and determination of its people. Mount Unzen, located in western Japan, is a stratovolcano that had been relatively quiet for several hundred years before its major eruption in 1792. The eruption was the deadliest natural disaster in Japanese history, claiming an estimated 15,000 lives. It caused widespread devastation, burying entire villages in ash and debris. The eruption began with a series of earthquakes, followed by a massive explosion that sent an ash plume 25 miles or 40 kilometers into the air. Pyroclastic flows, lahars, and falling volcanic debris rained down on the surrounding areas, destroying everything in their path. In the aftermath, entire villages were wiped out, and vast agricultural lands were destroyed. The economic impact of the disaster was devastating, with thousands of people left homeless and without means of support. Relief efforts were hampered by the remote location of the volcano, making it difficult to transport food, water, and medical supplies to those in need. The eruption of Mount Unzen had a profound impact on Japanese society, leading to significant changes in land use and settlement patterns. People began to avoid living in areas near volcanoes, and new technologies and early warning systems were developed to better predict and prepare for future eruptions. Volcanic eruptions have had a profound impact on human history, shaping our world in ways that few other natural disasters can. From the destruction of Pompeii to the eruption of Mount Pinatubo, These fiery giants have both fascinated and terrified us for centuries. But amidst the devastation, there is always hope for recovery and resilience. As we continue to learn more about volcanoes and improve our early warning systems, we can better protect ourselves from their destructive power and appreciate the awe-inspiring beauty that they bring to our planet.